Ladies and gentlemen, there are three firm pillars standing with the United States in Eastern Europe today. The Baltic states, Poland and Romania. That's my country. They create a north-south cordon sanitaire against a Russian encroachment. We are now close to the Black Sea, so you can see what makes the difference. At the same time, they are immune to the reflexively anti-American posture of some West European elites. Think of France, for instance. For the past 20 years, together with many other leading pro-American politicians, businessmen and journalists in Eastern Europe, I have been on the front lines of public debate in the constant ideological, political and philosophical war to encourage my country to embrace Western values more fully. This is particularly important in terms of assuring that Eastern European nations such as Romania upholds open democratic institutions and standards, respecting the rule of law, which doesn't seem to happen right now. These are areas in which we take inspiration, above all, from the most ancient modern democracy, that's the United States. However, we are losing this battle in the face of the growing clout of corrupt power brokers. Some are inside the government. Look at Dragnea and the PSD, while others are outside but closely aligned with it. These individuals often hide the nature of their activities behind a facade of pro-Western, pro-European attitudes, and they pay lip service to democratic values. Pervasive cronyism is slowly corroding the fragile foundations of Romanian and other post-communist democracies. See Ukraine, Moldova, and also other former communist Soviet nations. This corruption is taking place despite enjoying positive relations with international partners such as the United States and the European Union, and despite strong natural attraction of the people in these countries to Western and particularly American values. Thankfully, President Donald J. Trump has recognized that Romania and Poland are two pivotal regional powers that cherish the Judeo-Christian values and the Western civilization. His Warsaw speech last year emphasized precisely these issues, appealing to both audiences. By the end of July 2017, President Mike Pence had also made some important visits to Estonia, Montenegro and Georgia. The peoples of Eastern Europe are fond of individual liberty, that's for sure. They have personally survived the traumas of communism, totalitarianism, while their ancestors had a first-hand experience of either the Ottoman rule or of the Russian autocracy. These encouraging signs give us hope that the rampant corruption of the political class in these countries may one day come to an end. And that's what the people are asking for. Unlike the early years of Eastern Europeans' partnership with NATO and the US, the challenge now is not to create democratic institutions, but to prevent the erosion of democracy within these post-communist countries. The European elections that are taking place in May are very important precisely for that matter. It is an ideological war that is waged within the countries on NATO's eastern flank between competing visions of democracy, whether the future will be liberal or illiberal. There is a danger that one day my country will begin to resemble countries like Turkey or other Middle Eastern regimes which find themselves in a military alignment with the US, but they are inclined towards authoritarianism and economic autarky. This challenge in Eastern Europe is driven by the purposeful propagation of new doctrines that distort the region's established intellectual, religious and cultural traditions. Russia's favorite modus operandi in trying to influence these ideological wars now being waged across Eastern Europe is to use traditional institutions like the church in this subtle propaganda. This propaganda is based at times on religious arguments, as I've said. The latter approach should not mislead us. Both the Roman Catholic and Eastern Orthodox Christianity, also Protestantism, emphasize the dignity of the individual, the sanctity of human life, the theological critique of tyrannical rule, the importance of entrepreneurship and private initiative, and the construction of a vibrant civil society which puts the family at the heart of everything. But religion is being impressed into the service of propaganda these days by Russia. In Poland, Romania, Bulgaria, Hungary, Georgia, Slovakia, and the Baltic states, a large variety of pro-American politicians, university professors, and journalists are eager to disseminate the positive aspects of the American dream and of America's contribution to the progress of humankind. Of course, there are others, including some staunch Christian traditionalists, who naively accept Vladimir Putin's propaganda that unilaterally portrays America's values as decaying, declining, and decadent. There are some signs of decadence, but they do not express the entire Western project. Keeping Eastern Europe politically stable and culturally healthy is essential to ensure a strong and enduring transatlantic alliance. The United States, of course also Romania, could benefit immensely if the administration of Mr. Trump would reinvigorate programs such as the Free Europe station, the Free Europe radio, which tended to communicate in the past the values of Western civilization. I remember myself being a child listening to programs such as religious programs and cultural programs. Let me be candid with you. We expect the American embassy in Bucharest to promote values such as liberty, life, property, the importance of traditional values like the family and the joy of, for instance, having children, as well as religious freedom. Wars are never won by laying down one's ideological weapons. The peoples in Ukraine and Moldova want not just military protection, but also a glimmer of hope that their lives will prosper despite the outbreak of high-level corruption, the erosion of democracy, and the media propaganda controlled by Russia at this moment. Apart from abandoning strategic communication, recent US policy has set back the cause of liberty in Eastern Europe. For nearly a decade, the Obama administration has supported and sometimes even funded with your money, your public money, the neo-Marxist rhetoric of many Soros-sponsored NGOs in the region. Look at Montenegro, for instance. The Americans' leaders should show greater respect for our heritage, for our Christian values here in Eastern Europe, and this could have a game-changing impact on the entire region. This could also lead to a better reform in the realm of education, healthcare, and economics. Why not? If we read the polls documenting the pro-American sentiments in Romania, Poland, or other such countries, we know that millions of people would like to welcome a soft power surge right now, supporting Western values against Russia for the first time since the fall of communism. Eastern Europe stands at the crossroads. While outwardly robust in its politically and military alliance with the West, especially with the United States, inwardly its post-Cold War democratic gains are being lost. Russia understands this perfectly, which is why it is now concentrating, focusing its subversive propaganda efforts precisely on this weak spot. American strategic support on this non-military front of promoting Western values to the younger generations has become a critical necessity. We welcome that.
Acest video este gratuit numai prin generozitatea dumneavoastră. Fă acum o donație recurentă la adresa patreon.com/neamțu sau comandă ultima carte a autorului de pe site-ul povaralibertății.ro. Pentru o Românie deșteaptă. Vă mulțumim!